Hi everyone, it's Yudi here. I am finally here doing my labor and delivery story. And after 3 weeks, Emily is not 3 weeks old. I've been trying to put it up, but I didn't have any time. So anyways, starting off, there's so much to say, I don't know where to begin. So it all started on the 16th of January. My due date was on the 24th. And my last day of work was on the 17th. So, on Wednesday when I was at work, I was working, and like 15 minutes before my shift ended, like all day during my shift, I felt perfectly fine. I didn't feel any cramping, nothing to even like tell me that late or like warn me that labor was coming or that I was gonna have or nothing. I was feeling fine. The only thing that I did feel was like I said, it was like 1:45 when I had to go to the bathroom. And hold on a second. Anyways, I had to go to the bathroom. Like I had to pee really bad, and I told my manager, "Hey, can you watch the desk for like a second? I need to like go to the bathroom." So she's like, "Okay." And then when I went in, I felt like a little bit of cramps, like a little bit of cramping. It was like a weird cramp, but very mild. And then I was like, I ignored it, because I would feel cramps on and off and on or whatever. So then I peed and then I got up. I was done. And when I went to wash my hands, I felt like a little bit of like liquid come out, and I'm like, did I just pee myself? And I'm like, that's weird. I didn't even feel like I had any left. So like I went and I cleaned myself, and then when I got up again, I felt another like a whole bunch of like, it wasn't a lot. It was like a little bit of water, like warm water that came out. So then I was like, oh my god. Like I started thinking, can that be my water? And I'm like, no. I'm like a week, early. So then I cleaned myself again, and then when I got up and I was like, I opened the door to go look outside, and I was gonna say, hey, I was gonna tell my manager, I think I'm leaking, or I think my water might be breaking or something. And then as soon as I opened the door and I poked my head out, I just felt like this big gush of water just come out. Like it went all the way back to my pants, like down my leg, and I'm like, then I'm like, oh my god, like my water broke. And then I started crying because I was like freaking out. And my manager's going like, are you serious? Like, are you lying? Are you serious? What do I do? What do I do? Like she was freaking out. And then this other lady was there too, and she's like, oh my god. And it's funny because I wanted my water to break like spontaneously when I was like, I think I mentioned before, when I least expected it. And that's exactly how it happened. I didn't even get to work my last day because I left a day early because of my water breaking. So I went to the hospital like maybe an hour later because I had to go home and get some stuff before I went to the hospital. So then I get there, and then like they had me wait, and they finally put me into a room, and I'm like laying there. Yeah, but I didn't feel any contractions or anything, and that's what I was getting afraid of. I was like, man, anytime now I'm gonna start getting contractions. Because my sister told me, when you're water breaking, your contractions should start. But no, I didn't feel nothing. So I got to the hospital at 3, and they checked me. I was 4 centimeters dilated, or 3.5, or I don't know how much. I don't remember. I don't have any notes on any of this. So anyways, I have a feeling my boyfriend's gonna walk in and get embarrassed. Anywho, so I'm like laying there, they're telling me, oh, you're like 3.5, 4, I don't remember what it was, and they're like, but your baby's really high up. She hasn't even like dropped or anything. And I was like, oh, thinking this is gonna take a while. So like hours would pass, nothing. You know what they did? They put like this little pill inside of me, like I don't know what it was. It's supposed to soften my cervix. And then they were gonna start me on Pitocin, but not that night, until the next day in the morning. I think they started me on it, or that night. I don't remember. I was like, I don't remember a lot of things. So then they put me on, they put the pill in me. But the way that they did it, Okay, first of all, they couldn't find the baby's heartbeat because of, like I said, my weight. So they had to like put her this monitor on her head where they can like hear the heartbeat, and then they put another thing in there to like monitor the contractions and all this crap. So I had all these like two wires coming out of me. And I was still very like, okay, I'm not gonna ask for an epidural, but at this time I still hadn't felt any contractions. I didn't know what was coming. So, you know, God, I'm so unorganized with my story. Yeah, I don't remember a lot. I do not remember a lot. Let me see. Let me remember. So they put that in there. Oh, they were gonna put the pill in me. So then when they tried to put it in, they like, one of the nurses was trying to put it in there, and she shoved her hand up there like so hard that she made me like bleed. And you know, she would like even grab onto the handle next to the bed, and she would like use it as like so she can have more force to shove her hand in there. And I'm like, what is she trying to do? Like kill me? Like, is she trying to touch my heart from in there? Like, it hurt, and I was like, it hurt so bad, and but it kept slipping out, and she kept putting it in there, and then she like took her hand out, and she had a whole bunch of blood on her hand. She had blood up on her arm, like up here, so she had to go wash her hands. So I like bled a lot. And then so then they're like, okay, you can go to sleep now. Oh, they didn't put the Pitocin until the next day. So they, you know, after they put the pill in, they're like, you can take a nap. This was like at night already, so my sister left. So my sister was with me, my boyfriend, and my mom. And then so I was just like laying there, and then they how was it? Then they came in like at night when I was still sleeping, and they started the Pitocin. So then they're like, okay, you know, we start you on the Pitocin now. So then they left. And then I kind of tried to sleep. I started feeling some contractions, but they were like very far apart, and they were very mild. And I'm just like, oh, it was like a crampy feeling, but they would come and go, come and go. So then like later, after I was asleep, I woke up and I started feeling them stronger. And then they started getting stronger and stronger. And then they were to the point where they hurt really bad. But I'm like, no, I think I can handle it. And my mom's like, just wait. My mom actually stayed with me. She's like, just wait. She's like, because we're going to get really strong. She's like, you know, that's nothing. And then the lady's like, I was telling the lady, oh, I feel like contractions and all this stuff. And the nurses were so nice, by the way. Like, all of them. Especially one of them, I still remember her name. Her name was Amy, and she was like the best nurse in the world. Like, I kept telling like the nurses there, oh, I love Amy. And like, they even called me to do a survey or whatever. And I made sure I mentioned it. I even spelled her name. You know, because she had it spelled different. But anyways, back to my story. So she was with me most of the day that I had her, which was on Thursday already. And she's like, do you want an epidural? She's like, and I'm like, no. And then she's like, okay. She's like, just let me know when you change your mind. So I'm like, okay. So then my mom's like, I think you should get it. Oh, I'm starting to get a headache. My mom's like, I think you should get it because they're going to get really bad. And she's like, and by the time they're really bad, what if they tell you you can't get it anymore? So I was like, you know, and they did hurt kind of bad. Like, I would like kind of rock myself when I'd feel them, but I'm like, they weren't bad to the point where I'd scream or cry, you know. But they did feel bad in my, if I'm like thinking, if they're gonna get worse, like, I'm scared. So then finally I'm like, you know what? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get the epidural. As much as I wanted not to, I was like, I want to enjoy like laying here, you know, in the whole labor and stuff. Like, I don't want to think about the pain and all this stuff, even though some people say that was such a good experience to go through the pain and then you have this baby and it's worth it and all this. But I was just like, I'm tired. They wouldn't let me eat anything anymore. I mean, not even water. Like, towards the end, they wouldn't let me drink water. So then finally I told them to put the epidural, and they did. So everything was fine. You know, I felt, oh, before they put the epidural in and the contractions were getting stronger, she gave me this medicine where it would take the contractions away for like, I don't know how long it was. It was like for a few hours or like an hour or 2 or 3, I don't remember. And you only get the medication twice. So when she did that, I felt so good. But then when it started wearing off, that's when I started worrying, because I'm like, oh my god, they feel really bad, you know. So anyway, so they put in the epidural. I felt wonderful, you know. And then I think I took a nap. And then after a while, I started feeling contractions again. And you know, they give you that little button to push so you can get more medicine. Well, I kept pushing it and pushing it after every 10 minutes and nothing. And I'm like, and they kept getting stronger and stronger. So then I started freaking out, and I told the girl, hey, you know, I can feel the contractions, they're getting stronger, and I've been pushing this little button. And she's like, okay, just wait. Try it 3 times, but every 10 minutes, so in half an hour, push it 3 times. And I'm like, okay. So then I did, and then I started like rocking myself even harder, and I'm like, hold on a second.
¿Quieres hacer unos pedazos de carne frita o esto?
¿Qué?
Si te saco unos pedazos de carne frita, la guiso todo.
¿A mí? ¿Para qué?
¿O la guiso con chile y todo?
Sí, toda. ¿Me cierras bien la puerta ahorita que salgas? Thank you. I had to stop talking. I get embarrassed when he sees me because he thinks I'm weird talking to the camera. Anywho. Oh, great. Now I forgot what I was saying. Oh, so I started feeling I'm stronger. And then I text my sister and I'm like, hey, these contractions are getting really strong. So my sister's like, I'm on my way, you know, so she came over. And by the time my sister came in, I was crying. Like, oh, they were so bad. I don't remember what they feel like. I just remember that they were horrible. And I mean, I was crying. I was like on my side, and I kept grabbing onto like the bed handle and like doing this, and like I started kicking my legs, and then I was trying to be strong, like really strong. And then it would go away, and as soon as I felt it coming, I was already going, no, 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 like another one's coming. And I started like doing this. I looked like I was crazy. And then I was like, oh my god. And then I lost it. I started crying, and I was like, ah, like just crying. And the nurse was like, oh my god, she shouldn't be feeling him if she has the epidural. So then she called the no, not the anesthesiologist, whatever it's called. The epidural person. Anesthesiologist? I don't know. So he came in, and then he just like, okay, first of all, before he came in, my sister is like, why is it hurting her and all this crap? And then she saw blood on my back. And then she's like, oh my god, like her back is bleeding. And then the nurse is like, oh, that's normal, you know, they'll bleed a little bit. And even when the anesthesiologist guy came in, I said it. He said it was normal, but he didn't even look. Like, he didn't even check to see if the blood was okay, you know, even though it's normal for it to bleed sometimes. Don't you want to double check always just to make sure, you know, before you say, oh, it's okay, just to be sure that it really is okay. He didn't, and I couldn't even, like, when I was on my side, I couldn't even feel wet and, like, cold back there, and then I touched, and I saw blood, and my sister's like, she took a picture of my back, and she showed me, she's like, this is a lot of blood. So then, what was he saying? I have to be quick, because, well, I'm gonna do, like, another video, because I'm obviously gonna have enough time. So anyways, so then he comes in, and he injects me with the medicine again, and he goes, give it 20 minutes, and you'll be fine. And I'm like, okay. 20 minutes passed, nothing. I am still crying, and at this point my dad came to the hospital, and my dad walked in as I was screaming, and I don't remember this, but my sister told me, and then I was like crying and like just going crazy with the contraction, that my sister said that my dad walked out, and my sister went over there to talk to him, and she's like, why'd you leave? And he's like, I don't want to see her like that. Like, she said that my dad's eyes were all watery, like he wanted to cry, and he's like, I don't want to see her in pain. And my dad is like a really tough guy, like he's really mean looking and tough, and you know, for him to get like a little emotional because he saw me in pain, like I was like, oh, my pops. So he waited out there because, you know. So anyways, I'm gonna cut this video right here so I can start my second one. So I'll see you in a little bit.